We can have countries whose governments are in collapse simply because some little day traders on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange decided to buy up extra wheat futures at thus and such a date in the future, and economies tank. Food is that important to our economic survival. It ripples through everything that we do. After having gotten into farming myself 20 years ago now, I've realized that, guess what, it is about agribusiness, in that the smaller family farms, if we want to survive, we have to band together and collaborate with one another. We can use whatever model and form we want, whether it's LLCs, LLPs, C corporations, cooperatives, whatever works for the people involved, but we have to stick together and continue to, raise our livestock in a humane manner, to grow our crops without herbicides and pesticides if we so choose, because if we don't hang together, surely we'll hang separately. I get to see a lot of farms in a lot of different places, a lot of countries around the world, so I get a very big picture on agriculture. And the interest in restoration agriculture, where we imitate natural systems, we're not going to totally mimic a natural system, but we'll base our designs on natural systems, and we use perennial plants. The movement towards that in the past few years has just exploded. The interest in that has really exploded. So I am hopeful for the people involved that they're on a better path already, because when you have a perennial system in the ground, if there's a fossil fuel hiccup, something happens with electrical power, whatever the deal is, you've got a perennial food system in the ground. You're going to have something to cook, to eat. You're going to have something to trade with, something to sell. You're going to have wood to build with, fuel. You'll have all of your basic needs met in perennial systems. This whole entire cosmos, from the largest galaxies to the smallest little atom on this planet, nothing is simple. Everything's very complex, not complicated per se, but complex. We live in systems within systems within systems. And what needs to happen with agriculture is we have to systematically look at the whole thing in its ecological context. And if food on our dinner plate is what we're looking for at the end of the day, we have to make sure that every single component of these systems are healthy. And my focus is going right back to the planet itself, and agriculture absolutely must be ecological agriculture, or else it will not persist. I think I was probably 20 when I first stumbled upon a small little book called Permaculture 1 by Bill Mollison. I eventually trained in permaculture, became a permaculture instructor. My diploma is signed by Bill Mollison himself, the founder of the whole movement. And I think that permaculture, which originally meant permanent agriculture, that's where we have to go. However, the first adopters of permaculture have adopted it, this is my opinion of course, in the classic Western, we had talked about this earlier, the reductionist mentality. Let's grab one thing because we can do this one thing, and let's make a little mud pizza oven. Or let's make an herb spiral, or let's make a what do you call it, a gazebo out of woven willows. They pick something that they can do, or a hugelkultur bed, instead of a systematic redesign of how we get our staple food crops. A systematic redesign based on nature, which is what Bill Mollison was talking about in the first place. And so I'm using the word permaculture less and less, not because it's any less powerful than it was, but from my opinion, a lot of what it has become in the popular culture right now is much degraded. It's so much less than it can be. Now, I don't want to just put down permaculturists. What I want to say now is like, okay, folks, now it's time to stand up. Now it's time to stand up and get your game on. It is time to permaculture the planet. It's time to have permanent agriculture everywhere.